All right, let's jump right in, you guys. Ready for a deep dive into cryptocurrency?
Always ready for a deep dive.
You requested this one, so we're going deep into the Crypto Revolution Past, Present, and Future.pdf by Paramendra Kumar Bhagat.
Yeah, this paper is amazing.
I know, right? It's like a roadmap, from the very beginnings of crypto all the way to what could the future look like?
It's really is a wild ride, this whole journey, and I think this source does such a good job of not just explaining the tech, which can be a little much sometimes, but also the social and historical, why did this even happen?
A context.
The context, exactly.
So we'll start by talking about the cypherpunks. They were these early internet activists who really kind of set the stage for Bitcoin.
They were ahead of their time.
Right, and then we'll unpack some of those early milestones that seem almost unbelievable today. Like, if you could go back in time,
Oh, yeah.
how much would that Bitcoin pizza purchase be worth now? Oh, my goodness.
Don't even get me started on the pizza.
And, of course, we'll dig into the mystery of Satoshi Nakamoto, the creator of Bitcoin, whose identity is still totally unknown.
A total mystery.
Who are they?
I know.
By the end of this deep dive, you're going to understand the key concepts. All this stuff you hear about, blockchain, DeFi, NFTs, DAOs, we're going to make it all make sense.
No jargon?
Yeah, straightforward.
Real world examples.
Real world.
Yeah, so you can really, get it.
And you'll understand the potential benefits and the risks, because there are definitely both.
For sure.
And you might even be excited to explore this crazy world even more on your own.
I think so.
So let's start our journey with the genesis of crypto, the cypherpunk movement. What were they all about?
Okay, so picture this, the 80s and the 90s, the internet is this new thing. Brand new, and everyone's like, oh, this is going to be amazing, this is going to connect the world. And the cypherpunks were like, yeah, it will, but also there's this potential for surveillance.
They were ahead of the curve.
Way ahead of the curve. They were worried about control. Who's going to control all this information?
Big brother.
Exactly, big brother. And so they were all about using cryptography, basically like secret codes.
Yeah, like spy stuff.
Yeah, to protect privacy and freedom in this new digital world.
It's kind of ironic, right? Because the internet was supposed to be this liberating force.
It was.
And in many ways it is, but
it also creates all these new ways to track our every move,
Track and monitor.
Exactly. Everything we do online can be tracked.
It's kind of creepy.
It is. And the cypherpunks, they were like, we see this coming.
They're visionaries.
Yeah. And they saw cryptography as a tool to kind of level the playing field, to give individuals power,
Fight back.
Fight back against this growing digital surveillance.
So how did this group of digital privacy warriors, how did they actually influence the birth of Bitcoin? Was Satoshi Nakamoto a cypherpunk?
Ah, that's the million-dollar question, right?
I know, right?
I mean, we can't say for sure because we don't know who Satoshi is, but the parallels are undeniable.
The timing was right.
The timing was right.
Yeah.
Bitcoin embodies so many of the cypherpunk ideals. Decentralization.
Yeah. Power to the people.
Power to the people, individual empowerment, and resistance to centralized control the man.
Yeah. That's Bitcoin was the answer to all the problems they were warning us about.
It's they knew.
Yeah, this system designed to operate outside the control of governments and corporations.
Exactly. And don't forget the timing of Bitcoin's emergence right after the 2008 financial crisis. That's not a coincidence.
That's a crazy time.
Oh, man, people lost their homes, people lost their jobs. Trust in the system was shattered.
Yeah, everyone was freaking out.
Absolutely. And Bitcoin, with its decentralized design and this promise of financial sovereignty, control your own money.
Right.
It emerged as this powerful symbol of the desire for change.
Okay, so we've got this backdrop. The cypherpunks are sounding the alarm. The financial crisis hits, trust is shattered.
Yeah.
And boom, Satoshi Nakamoto drops this Bitcoin white paper.
Mic drop.
I tried to read it.
Intense.
It's dense.
Very technical.
But what were the truly groundbreaking ideas in that white paper that sparked this whole revolution?
Okay, so the white paper itself is super technical, but the core ideas are actually pretty elegant.
Break it down for us.
Okay, so Satoshi lays out this vision for a peer-to-peer electronic cash system, completely decentralized, no central authority controlling it.
Right, so no government.
No government, no banks.
No Federal Reserve.
Nope, just people trading directly with each other.
Okay, that's kind of mind-blowing.
It is. And then they introduced this concept of the blockchain, this immutable public ledger. It's like a giant record book that records every single Bitcoin transaction ever made.
So everyone can see it.
Everyone can see it. It's transparent, but it's also incredibly secure because it's distributed across a network of computers.
So no one can tamper with it.
It's exactly. It's like this tamper-proof record of everything. And to keep the system secure and prevent double spending, like spending the same Bitcoin twice.
Right. You can't just copy and paste Bitcoin.
Exactly. Satoshi came up with this genius mechanism called proof of work, where computers have to solve complex math problems to verify transactions.
Yes, mining.
Mining, exactly. That's where all the energy consumption jokes come from.
Yeah, but it's also what makes Bitcoin so difficult to, manipulate.
To counterfeit. Exactly. It's like a built-in security system.
Yeah.
And finally, to make sure Bitcoin is valuable. They set a fixed supply, 21 million Bitcoins. That's it. No more, no less.
So no central bank can just print more Bitcoin whenever they feel like it.
No, Bitcoin is like digital gold. It's scarce. And that's part of what makes it valuable.
It really was a radical departure from how we traditionally think about money.
Totally. It was like a paradigm shift, a whole new way of thinking about value and exchange.
Which brings us back to this enigma, this mystery of Satoshi Nakamoto. They dropped this revolutionary white paper.
Change the world.
Kickstart this global financial movement, and then poof, they disappear. It's crazy.
Ghostly.
It's like a superhero origin story. I mean, people have been trying to uncover their identity for years.
Obsessively, some people think it was a single brilliant individual, like some lone wolf genius.
Right.
Others think it was a group of developers working together secretly, like a secret society.
Maybe we'll never know.
Maybe not. It just adds to the mystique.
So we've got this mysterious creator, this groundbreaking technology, but how did Bitcoin actually go from an idea on paper to a real thing?
Right. When did people actually start using it?
For stuff.
Yeah, for buying and selling things in the real world.
That's where things get really interesting. Let's talk about those early Bitcoin transactions and those early milestones.
Oh, yeah. And trust me, some of these stories are wild.
Okay, you mentioned the pizza.
Oh, the infamous Bitcoin pizza purchase.
Legendary.
Okay, so in May 2010, this programmer named Laszlo Hanyecz, he posts on a Bitcoin forum, and he's like, hey, I'll give 10,000 Bitcoins for 2 pieces.
10,000?
10,000 Bitcoins. And someone actually took him up on it, ordered those pizzas delivered to his house, and that became the first documented commercial transaction using Bitcoin.
Now, if he had held onto those Bitcoins,
oh my God.
You'd be a billionaire.
Billionaire many times over, right? It's insane to think about.
Talk about expensive pizza.
The most expensive pizza in history, probably.
But it also highlights how much Bitcoin's value has exploded, since those early days.
Right. I mean, it went from being worth basically nothing to being worth tens of thousands of dollars per coin.
It's a reminder of the potential rewards, but also the risks.
Oh, for sure. The wild swings in value can be exhilarating and terrifying at the same time.
It's a fascinating case study in the psychology of investing, right? If you had bought just $100 worth of Bitcoin back in 2010 when the first exchange rate was published, you'd be sitting on a fortune today.
Seriously, you'd be retired on a beach somewhere.
Makes you wonder what other seemingly insignificant crypto milestones today might be worth a fortune in the future.
Right, what's the next pizza purchase?
But those early transactions weren't just about potential riches, right? They were also about proving that Bitcoin could actually work as a currency.
Exactly. They were real-world experiments, showing that this revolutionary technology could actually facilitate transactions, even if it was just for pizza back then.
So what other early aha moments kind of signaled that Bitcoin was gaining traction?
Well, in 2010, the first major Bitcoin exchange, Mt. Gox, launched, and it quickly became the go-to platform for trading Bitcoin, highlighted that growing demand.
But wait, didn't Mt. Gox eventually collapse?
Unfortunately, yes. In 2014, Mt. Gox was hacked, and hundreds of thousands of Bitcoins were stolen. It was a huge setback for the early crypto world.
So the first major Bitcoin exchange gets hacked. That's not exactly a vote of confidence.
It was definitely a blow to the industry's reputation. It showed that there were still major security challenges that needed to be addressed.
So Wild West of finance?
Yeah, it was a time of rapid growth experimentation and, some spectacular failures.
It's like any new technology. I guess there are growing pains, and sometimes those growing pains are expensive.
Right. But through it all, Bitcoin survived, and its narrative started to shift.
How so?
It went from being seen as just digital cash to being seen as digital gold.
Ah, the digital gold narrative. That's when things really started to take off. What drove that change?
So a few things happened. First, Bitcoin's fixed supply, that 21 million limit, created a sense of scarcity like gold. There's only so much of it to go around.
Right.
And this combined with the first Bitcoin halving event in 2012, where the reward for mining Bitcoin was cut in half, reinforced Bitcoin's deflationary nature.
So unlike traditional currencies, which governments can just print more of whenever they want, Bitcoin's supply is limited, making it potentially more valuable over time.
Precisely, it's like a built-in hedge against inflation.
And as global economic uncertainty grew, people started to see Bitcoin as a safe haven asset, much like gold.
Right, a way to protect their wealth from economic turmoil.
Institutional investors started to take notice, and that's when the price really started to climb.
Exactly. FOMO kicked in big time.
And that's where the comparison to gold becomes even stronger, right? Bitcoin, like gold, is divisible, portable, verifiable, and even more resistant to censorship.
You can send Bitcoin across borders instantly without relying on banks or governments. You can verify its authenticity on the blockchain, and it's virtually impossible for any authority to seize it.
So Bitcoin was gaining traction as digital gold, attracting big-time investors. But things didn't stop there, right?
Oh, no, this is just the beginning.
What happened next?
That's when things get really interesting. While Bitcoin was making waves, a new player entered the game one that would expand the crypto universe beyond just digital currency, Ethereum.
Ah, Ethereum, the one with the smart contracts and all the cool DeFi stuff. But hold on, let's rewind for a second before we dive into Ethereum. Weren't there other cryptocurrencies that popped up before that?
You're right. Bitcoin's success spawned a whole litter of what we call altcoins, alternative coins.
So it wasn't just about copying Bitcoin. What were some of the early altcoins trying to achieve?
Well, some aim to improve on Bitcoin's limitations, like Litecoin, for example, focused on faster transaction speeds.
Okay, so speed was an issue.
Yeah, Bitcoin transactions could be slow, especially during peak times.
Makes sense.
Others, like Namecoin, tried to create a decentralized internet, like a whole new internet.
Wow.
And then there was Ripple, designed for faster cross-border payments, specifically for financial institutions.
So much experimentation. It's like everyone was trying to find their own niche within this new crypto landscape.
Totally. It was like the Cambrian explosion of crypto.
But I recall things got a little out of control with all those ICOs. What was that all about?
Ah, yes, the ICO boom and bust. So with Ethereum's introduction of ERC-20 tokens, anyone could create their own cryptocurrency.
Really?
Yeah, and they could raise funds through these things called initial coin offerings, basically crowdfunding on steroids.
Sounds like a recipe for disaster.
It was a wild time. Millions of dollars were pouring into ICOs. Some were legitimate projects with real potential, but many were not.
So scams.
Lots of scams, unfortunately.
So like any bubble, it eventually burst.
It did. The lack of regulation and the sheer volume of scams led to a major crash in 2018.
Ouch.
It was a harsh lesson for the industry, but it also paves the way for more sustainable and regulated fundraising methods.
So lots of experimentation, some success, some spectacular failures. It's a reminder that this is still a very young and evolving industry.
For sure, the crypto world is still figuring things out.
But through it all, Ethereum emerged as a major force. What made it so different from Bitcoin?
So Bitcoin is primarily a store of value, like digital gold. Ethereum, on the other hand, introduced the concept of smart contracts.
Smart contract.
Yeah, these self-executing agreements that run on the blockchain. This is where things start to get really interesting.
Okay, smart contracts. I've heard the term, but I'm still a little fuzzy on how they actually work and why they're such a big deal.
Imagine a vending machine, but for agreements and transactions of all sorts you put in your input, the conditions are met, and boom, the contract automatically executes its terms. No need for lawyers or intermediaries.
So instead of relying on a third party to enforce an agreement, the code itself does the work.
Exactly. They can automate everything from financial transactions to supply chain management, even voting systems.
It's like magic.
It kind of is, and Ethereum's platform made it easy for developers to build these smart contracts and create decentralized applications, or dApps, that run on its blockchain.
Ah, dApps. So we're talking about applications that aren't controlled by any single company, right? Like a social media platform where users own their data, or a decentralized Uber that cuts out the middleman.
Precisely. Ethereum's innovation opened the floodgates for decentralized finance DeFi, where you can lend, borrow, and trade crypto without relying on traditional banks. And then there's the explosion of NFTs, non-fungible tokens.
NFTs, that's the digital art craze everyone's talking about. I've seen those Bored Ape Yacht Club avatars going for millions.
NFTs go way beyond just digital art. They can represent anything unique: music rights, virtual real estate, even in-game items.
That's about ownership.
It is. They're changing how we think about ownership in the digital world.
So Ethereum really expanded the scope of what blockchain technology could achieve. It went beyond just currency and created an entire ecosystem of decentralized applications and possibilities.
It did. It's like Bitcoin laid the foundation and Ethereum built the city on top of it.
And that's why the debate between Bitcoin and Ethereum is so fascinating. Bitcoin is the original, the digital gold standard.
Right.
Ethereum is the platform for innovation, the world computer. They both have their strength and weakness.
Yeah, they're passionate supporters.
Okay, so we've got Bitcoin as the OG.
The OG.
And Ethereum as the disruptor, opening the door to a whole new universe of decentralized possibilities, but we're only just scratching the surface, right?
We've got so much more to explore.
What else is in store for our deep dive?
Next, we'll explore how crypto is actively disrupting traditional industries, from finance and tech giants to even governments. We'll look at the battle for Web3, the future of a decentralized internet, and how crypto is changing the game in entertainment and even supply chain management. Get ready to have your mind blown.
I'm ready, bring it on.
Let's do this.
Yeah, my mind is already bending a little bit, but in a good way.
It's a good stretch.
Yeah. So let's talk about this whole disruption thing. You mentioned that crypto is going after these giants in finance tech, even governments. I mean, those are some pretty powerful forces to be challenging. Where are we seeing the most action?
Well, the battle lines are drawn pretty clearly in the financial world. DeFi, or decentralized finance, is like a direct challenge to the traditional banking system. Like, we're talking lending, borrowing, trading, all that stuff that banks do, but without the banks.
I've heard about DeFi lending, but honestly, I'm a little skeptical. Is it really safer or more efficient than just, going to my bank? How does it even work?
So it's all about smart contracts and this blockchain technology. Imagine a platform where you can deposit your crypto as collateral and take out a loan against it, or you can lend your crypto to others and earn interest. All of this happens on the blockchain without a bank, mediating the process.
So it's like peer-to-peer lending, but with crypto as the currency.
Exactly. It cuts out the middleman.
That's kind of cool. But what about security? Aren't there risks involved?
Of course, there are always risks, especially in a new space like DeFi. But DeFi platforms are actually designed to minimize a lot of the risks associated with traditional finance. Like, because everything is transparent on the blockchain, it's much harder for fraud or manipulation to occur.
Okay, that makes sense. But I can imagine banks aren't exactly thrilled about this whole DeFi thing, right? It seems like a pretty direct threat to their business model.
Let's just say they're not exactly rolling out the red carpet for DeFi.
Yeah.
Decentralized finance threatens to cut into their profits and their control over financial systems. But the genie is out of the bottle.
Yeah.
And DeFi is gaining momentum. Like, billions of dollars are locked in these protocols.
Wow. So it's a real David versus Goliath situation, but DeFi is just one piece of this whole puzzle, right? Crypto is shaking things up in so many other areas. What about big tech? They're pretty powerful players in today's digital world. How are they reacting to this whole decentralized revolution?
So these big tech companies like, Google, Facebook, Amazon, they've built these empires on centralized platforms. They control our data, they control our online experiences, and they profit immensely from it. But this vision of Web3, this decentralized internet powered by blockchain technology, that poses a serious challenge to their dominance.
Web3, that's the idea of an internet where users have more control and ownership over their data and their online interactions, right?
Yes, exactly. Web3 envisions a future where our data isn't held hostage by giant corporations. We can interact and transact directly with each other, and content creators are rewarded fairly for their work.
That sounds amazing, but isn't there a risk that Web3 could just become dominated by new, powerful players, like simply replicating the problems we see with big tech today, just with different names and faces?
That's a valid concern. It's not just about decentralizing technology, it's also about decentralizing power. The challenge for Web3 is to create a truly open and equitable internet, where power is distributed among users, not concentrated in the hands of a few.
So it's not a guaranteed utopia, more like an ongoing evolution.
And a constant battle for control.
Yeah, but how would Web3 actually work in practice? What would it look like for, me using the internet every day?
Okay, so imagine decentralized social media platforms where users own their content and control their data. Instead of Facebook or Twitter profiting from your posts and interactions, you would have complete ownership and control over your digital identity and your content.
That's a huge shift. Are there any platforms like that actually operating today?
There are some promising projects emerging. Mastodon, for example, is a decentralized social media platform that's gaining traction. And there are decentralized alternatives for everything from cloud storage to web browsing.
Okay, so it's starting to happen. I'm starting to see how this could be a real game changer. But let's be honest. Big tech isn't just going to sit back and watch their empires crumble, are they?
Oh, they're not going down without a fight. They're trying to co-opt the technology, integrate blockchain into their existing platforms, even launch their own cryptocurrencies. It's a race to see who's going to control the future of the internet.
Wow, it sounds like we're in for a wild ride. But let's not forget about the impact crypto is having on other industries. You mentioned entertainment earlier. How is crypto shaking things up in those worlds, like music, movies, gaming?
NFTs are a big part of the story here. They're changing how artists create, distribute, and monetize their work.
Okay, I get the digital art aspect of NFTs, but how is crypto impacting other forms of entertainment, like music, movies, and games?
Well, imagine a world where musicians can sell their albums directly to fans as NFTs, cutting out record labels and streaming platforms.
So they get to keep more of the profits.
Exactly. Or filmmakers release movies as NFTs, allowing viewers to own a piece of the film and even profit from its success.
That's really interesting. So it's about cutting out the middleman and giving more power back to the creators.
And in gaming, NFTs are creating these whole new economies. Players can earn crypto for their time and skill in these play-to-earn games.
That's so cool. It's like turning your gaming hobby into a side hustle.
Exactly. It's blurring the lines between gaming and real-world income.
I've also heard a lot of skepticism about NFTs, though. Some people think it's just a hype-driven bubble. Is it really sustainable in the long run?
The NFT space is definitely volatile right now. There's a lot of speculation driving prices. But I think the underlying technology has real potential to transform how we create, own, and experience digital content.
It's like the early days of the internet, when people were skeptical about the value of websites and domain names.
Right now, we can't imagine life without them.
Exactly. NFTs could have a similar transformative impact, but it's going to take time for the hype to settle and for the real potential of the technology to emerge.
Patience is key.
So we've talked about finance, we've talked about big tech entertainment. What about some of the less glamorous areas like supply chains? I've heard that blockchain technology can have a real impact there, but I don't really understand how it works.
So this is actually one of the most promising applications of blockchain technology. By creating a transparent and immutable record of every step in the supply chain blockchain can help ensure the authenticity and the ethical sourcing of products.
So no more fake products or counterfeit goods or, shady practices hidden in those complex global supply chains.
That's the goal. It's about increasing transparency and accountability. Blockchain is already being used to track food, pharmaceuticals, diamonds, even voting records.
Wow, that's incredible. So this technology that started with Bitcoin is now having an impact on everything from finance and entertainment to the very way we track products and information.
It's amazing, right? It shows how versatile blockchain technology really is.
But let's not forget about governments, right? They're starting to take notice, and their reactions have been mixed, to say the least. Some are embracing crypto, while others are cracking down hard. It's like the Wild West of regulation out there.
For sure, some countries see the potential of crypto to foster innovation and economic growth, while others see it as a threat to their control over financial systems.
So where are we seeing the most interesting regulatory developments? What are the big battlegrounds?
Well, the United States has taken kind of a fragmented approach. Different agencies are taking different stances. The SEC, for example, has been aggressively going after crypto projects that they consider securities, which has led to some lawsuits and uncertainty for the industry.
It sounds like the U.S. is still trying to figure out how to fit crypto into their existing regulatory framework.
Yeah, they're trying to balance the need for consumer protection with, the desire to foster innovation. Meanwhile, China has taken a much more hardline approach. They've banned crypto mining and trading altogether.
Really a complete ban.
Yeah, they're pushing their own central bank digital currency, the digital yuan, as a state-controlled alternative.
Wow, so it's like a clash of ideology, centralized control versus decentralized freedom. Are there any countries taking a more, let's say, crypto-friendly approach?
Absolutely. The European Union has implemented these MiCA regulations. They're trying to create a more comprehensive and balanced approach to crypto regulation, encouraging innovation while still protecting investors. And then there's El Salvador, which made Bitcoin legal tender back in 2021.
Legal tender, that's a big deal.
It is. They're allowing people to use Bitcoin for everyday transactions right alongside the U.S. dollar.
That's a bold move. I imagine the whole world is watching to see how that experiment plays out.
Oh, yeah. It's a fascinating case study. El Salvador's embrace of Bitcoin has gotten both praise and criticism. It's a reminder that the path forward for crypto is not clear-cut.
It's uncharted territory.
Totally.
It's clear that governments are struggling to find that right balance, between fostering innovation and protecting their citizens. But it's not just about regulations, right? There's some deeper questions at play here, like philosophical questions, this tension between the decentralized ideals of crypto and the desire for control stability.
Right. Crypto was born out of this desire for financial freedom, a system that operates outside of traditional power structures.
Hmm.
But as it gains mainstream adoption, governments are naturally going to want to exert some level of control.
Yeah, you can't really blame them. I mean, they have to protect their citizens and their
It's a
interests.
classic battle between innovation and regulation, the old and the new.
So how do we protect consumers and prevent illicit activities without stifling the very things that make crypto so revolutionary?
Those are the million-dollar questions, right, as we navigate this new world. It's a complex landscape full of incredible promise, but also potential pitfalls.
Well, you've definitely given me a lot to think about, but we're not done yet, right? Our source also dives into some pretty mind-blowing scenarios for the future of crypto.
Oh, yeah. And that's where things get really exciting. From AI-powered smart contracts to decentralized autonomous organizations, the possibilities are truly endless.
Okay, my brain is officially fried, but in a good way. I'm ready for more. So let's talk about the future. Our source lays out some pretty wild scenarios for where crypto could go next. What are some of the most exciting or maybe even a little scary possibilities?
Well, one area that's getting super interesting is like the intersection of AI and crypto. Like imagine AI-powered smart contracts,
Yeah.
those agreements we were talking about before, but now they can learn and adapt in real time, making decisions based on like complex data analysis or picture this, DAOs, decentralized autonomous organizations, essentially companies or projects run by algorithms and governed by a community with no central leadership.
AI running the show, that sounds like it could be amazing, but also kind of terrifying. What are the downsides of giving so much control to AI, especially in a system as complex as crypto?
That's the big question, right? And it's one that the whole crypto community is grappling with. There are definitely risks like what happens if an AI-powered smart contract makes a mistake or is exploited by hackers? Who's responsible?
Right, and with DAOs, how do you ensure fairness and prevent like unintended consequences? It's like we're entering this uncharted territory.
It's definitely uncharted territory. It's a balancing act. We need to think carefully about the ethical implications of these technologies and develop safeguards to mitigate the potential risks. But the potential benefits are huge. Like imagine AI helping to optimize DeFi protocols, making them more efficient and accessible, or DAOs funding and managing critical infrastructure projects without all the bureaucracy and inefficiencies of traditional organizations.
I see the potential, but I'm also feeling a little cautious. It's a lot to process, but let's shift gears for a second and talk about some of the challenges facing crypto. It's not all sunshine and roses, right?
Definitely not. One of the biggest ongoing concerns is security.
Yeah.
We've seen so many hacks, exploits, scams in the crypto world, billions of dollars lost.
You would think with all this talk about decentralization and cryptography that crypto would be unhackable. What are some of the biggest security risks people should be aware of?
Well, there are vulnerabilities at every level. Smart contracts, while they're super powerful, they can contain bugs or design flaws that hackers can exploit. Exchanges, where people buy and sell crypto, they can be targeted by sophisticated attacks. And then there's always the human element, people falling victim to phishing scams and other social engineering tactics.
So even with all the technological safeguards, there's still a need for like user awareness and education. People need to be smart about how they protect themselves.
For sure. And then there's the whole environmental impact thing. Bitcoin mining in particular has been criticized for its energy consumption.
Right, all those massive server farms using tons of energy to mine Bitcoin. Is that really sustainable, especially with all the concerns about climate change?
It's definitely a valid concern. The good news is that the crypto industry is working on solutions like proof-of-stake consensus mechanisms, which Ethereum has already adopted, and there's growing interest in using renewable energy sources for mining.
So the industry is aware of the problem and trying to find ways to address it. That's good to hear. But beyond the technical challenges, there's also like psychological and economic risk of crypto speculation.
Oh, absolutely. Crypto markets are notoriously volatile. We've seen those massive booms and busts, and the allure of quick riches can lead to some really risky behavior. FOMO, fear of missing out.
Oh yeah, everyone wants to get in on the action.
Right, and that can lead to devastating losses for people who aren't careful.
It's like the Wild West of finance all over again. What advice would you give to someone who's just starting to explore the world of crypto investing?
Number one, do your research. Don't just blindly follow the hype or invest based on rumors. Understand the technology, the risks, the potential before putting any money into crypto.
That's good advice for any investment, really. But with crypto, it seems even more critical given the volatility and complexity.
Absolutely. And don't invest more than you can afford to lose.
Yeah.
Crypto is still a relatively young and unpredictable asset class. Treat it like any high-risk investment and be prepared for both the ups and the downs.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into the crypto revolution, what are the key takeaways you want our listener to walk away with?
First and foremost, crypto is more than just Bitcoin. It's a whole ecosystem of technologies, applications, ideas that has the potential to really change the world in some pretty profound ways.
It's still evolving, it's early days, but it's definitely a force to be reckoned with.
It is. And second, crypto presents both incredible opportunities and very real risks. It's crucial to be informed, do your own research, and really understand both sides of the coin, before making any decisions.
Don't just buy into the hype, think critically, question everything, and make those informed decisions for yourself.
Exactly. And finally, remember that the future of crypto is not set in stone. It's being shaped right now by the choices we make, the technologies we develop, the regulations we put in place.
It's a collaborative effort. It's up to all of us, developers, investors, policymakers, everyday users, to decide, whether this revolution leads to a more decentralized, equitable, and empowered world, or whether it just ends up replicating those same power structures and problems we see in traditional systems.
The source we explored today gives us a roadmap of where things could go, but the destination is ultimately up to us.
Well said to our listener. We hope this deep dive has given you a solid foundation in this crazy world of crypto. Keep learning, stay curious, and most importantly, think for yourself.
And on that note, here's a final thought-provoking question to ponder. As you continue your crypto journey, the source talks about the potential of crypto to power universal basic income systems. What other big world problems do you think blockchain could help solve?
That's a great question to leave you with the potential of this technology is huge and the future is full of possibilities. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the crypto revolution.